When a forgotten leather-bound diary surfaced during a routine set cleanup, no one expected it to belong to Yoona, the beloved member of Girls' Generation and successful actress. But what was even more shocking wasn't the diary itself, it was what was written inside. The pages revealed a raw, unfiltered look into Yoona's hidden relationship with JUN-HO, a story of passion, betrayal, jealousy, and secret rendezvous that spanned years. For the first time, the veil has been lifted on what fans have only speculated. Now, let's take you deep into the pages of a private world never meant to be seen, a world that might just redefine the K-drama-worthy love story of Yoona and JUN-HO. The first diary entry, dated back to March 12, 2021, was filled with nervous scribbles. "Today during filming, JUN-HO brought me coffee. But it wasn't just that. He looked at me like he knew all my secrets. I laughed it off, but my heart raced. Why him? It was the beginning of their on-screen partnership in the hit drama King the Land, but apparently, sparks were flying behind the scenes from the very start. In later pages, Yoona confesses how JUN-HO would wait for her behind trailers, walk her to her car late at night, and even once covered her with his coat when she was shivering on set. I told him I was fine. He said, I know. But let me take care of you anyway. I couldn't speak. Fans suspected chemistry, but no one knew how real it was. One diary entry was marked only with a moon emoji, a secret code perhaps. The content. Mind-blowing. We met in a car behind the studio lot. He held my hand and whispered, "Don't let go, even if the world doesn't understand us." We sat in silence, just listening to our breaths. The diary recounts nights spent walking under the stars on Namsan, disguised in hoodies and masks. At one point, Yoona even mentions borrowing a staff member's car just so they wouldn't be followed. Being with him feels like being in a different universe where nothing else matters. But sometimes I'm terrified. What if we're found out? The entries show how intense and risky their romance was. Their love wasn't just passionate, it was forbidden, making it even more intoxicating. But not everything in the diary was sweet. He said he couldn't handle the rumors anymore. That pretending we're just friends was killing him. I cried and told him I didn't have the strength to lose him. Yoona described a massive fight they had during an after-party. They were seated at opposite ends of the room, pretending they didn't know each other while their eyes screamed everything they couldn't say aloud. That night, according to her diary, she locked herself in her hotel room and wrote, "Love is supposed to be beautiful, but why does it hurt so much to keep it alive?" The next day, he left her a handwritten letter with 3 words, "Don't give up." She kept it pressed between the pages of her diary. As the entries go on, the story becomes more like a thriller than a romance. Yoona reveals they started using code names. She was Moonlight, and he was Sunrise. They would leave notes in hidden spots, behind vending machines, taped under benches, even inside books at a local cafe in Itaewon. She writes of a night when she was followed by what she believed was a tabloid photographer. "I had to jump out of the taxi mid-route and vanish into a bookstore. JUN-HO found me 30 minutes later, wrapped me in a scarf, and walked me out the back. My night." To avoid digital tracking, they used burner phones, one exclusively used to say "I love you" in voicemails when the other needed strength. They deleted every message after listening. Fans had no idea they were living a real-life drama more intense than any script. A very revealing entry touches on something that almost tore them apart, JUN-HO's co-star. He had a scene with her where he held her waist longer than the script said. "I saw the behind the scenes. He didn't even look at me when I walked past. That night, I didn't answer his calls." She wrote about a jealousy-fueled silence that lasted 4 days. JUN-HO eventually sent her a gift box. Inside was a single white rose and a note that read, "There's only one lead in my story. It's you. It's both beautiful and tragic." Their love had to survive not just public scrutiny but also the storms of their own hearts. The diary holds one of the most dramatic moments, a page with a torn corner and smeared ink. "We almost told the world tonight. We were both ready. But his agency pulled him into a last-minute crisis meeting. They warned him, threatened to drop him from future projects if the rumor became true." She describes a heart-wrenching phone call, filled with tears, and an unspoken understanding that, for now, their love had to remain in the shadows. He said he'd wait 1,000 years if he had to. I believe him. The last diary entry is dated November 18, 2023, a day before their drama's finale aired. I watched the final cut alone. He sent me a voice note saying, "I wasn't acting. Every scene, every word, it was always real with you. There's no clear breakup in the diary. No goodbye. Only hope. Maybe one day, we'll walk into the sunlight hand in hand. Until then, I carry us in every breath I take." Once the diary was discovered and snippets leaked online, fans went wild. Some denied its authenticity, others believed it was too detailed to be fabricated. Yoona's agency refused to comment. JUN-HO was spotted at Incheon Airport looking visibly emotional, but offered no statement. One anonymous insider claims that the diary was real, found during a location cleanup and accidentally posted online by an intern before being taken down minutes later. But those minutes were enough. Neither Yoona nor JUN-HO have publicly confirmed or denied the diary's contents. But since the incident, they've both avoided public appearances together, even for promotions. However, a fan-captured photo in early 2025 of two people resembling them holding hands in Paris sent the fandom spiraling again. Could it be that they finally chose love over fame? Yoona's diary has done more than stir rumors, it sparked a conversation about the pressure idols and actors face when choosing love in an industry obsessed with image. Whether you believe in the diary's truth or not, one thing is undeniable: the words inside those pages revealed a heart deeply in love, and a woman courageously navigating a world that wouldn't let her be free. And perhaps, somewhere out there, Moonlight and Sunrise are still writing their story, not on paper this time, but in the stars above. Just when fans thought they had seen the full extent of the shocking revelations from Yoona's leaked diary, deeper layers of her private thoughts began to surface, pages that had been previously torn out, folded, or written in hidden ink under lamplight. These new pages are not just entries. They are confessions, filled with raw vulnerability and vivid details that paint a love story far more intense and heart-wrenching than anyone imagined. And now, the continuation begins, not on the public stage of drama sets, but in midnight hallways, whispered conversations, and secret messages hidden in plain sight. Found wedged behind the back cover of the diary, a hidden page detailed one unforgettable night. It began with a line, "Tonight, the rain exposed everything we tried to hide." Yoona wrote about a night in May 2022. The cast had just wrapped a long shoot in the countryside, and the production crew was heading back to Seoul. A storm had rolled in, heavy with thunder and wind. Most people stayed inside their trailers. But not JUN-HO. He stood outside, drenched. "I stepped out and asked why." He said, "Because I needed to feel something real. And right now, you're the only thing that feels real." She ran into the rain and stood in front of him. No words were spoken. No cameras were rolling. Just the sound of thunder and the silence between them. He kissed me. It wasn't sweet. It was desperate, like he was drowning and I was the only air left. That moment, buried deep in her diary, reads like a K-drama climax. But it was real. Her real life unfolding like fiction. As their relationship intensified, their need for secrecy became more inventive. Yoona's entries revealed that the two developed a system of hiding love notes inside their scripts. JUN-HO would tuck little sticky notes on page 27, always the same number, a private code only they understood. One particular note melted her heart. "Today, you made me laugh so hard I forgot we're pretending. I love pretending with you. But one day, I want to stop pretending and just live." Another entry reads, "I watched him read the script. He smiled when he saw my message. He didn't look up. But I saw his hand brush the page, gently, as if touching me." These silent conversations were the lifeline of their secret relationship, short but powerful moments of intimacy surrounded by cameras, staff, and unspoken rules. Yoona dedicated an entire entry to something she called the Red Scarf Incident. It occurred during a fan event in Seoul where both stars appeared together. Fans were obsessed with analyzing their body language, yet no one noticed the true message. "I wore the red scarf because he asked me to. He said, 'Wear it if you still love me, if I'm not imagining us.'" As JUN-HO stepped onto the stage, he locked eyes with her for just a second. He smiled. Not the usual one. It was the smile he gives only when we're alone. Fans thought the red scarf was a fashion statement. But to the two of them, it was a declaration visible to the world, yet hidden in plain sight. One of the most emotional pages in the diary recounts a terrifying event. JUN-HO collapsed on set due to exhaustion. Cameras cut. People panicked. Yoona, despite being surrounded by staff and fans, couldn't hold it in. They said he just fainted. But I saw his lips turning pale. I didn't care anymore. I ran to him. I grabbed his hand. Someone tried to stop me, I pushed them away. She rode with him in the ambulance, her cap pulled low, praying no one would recognize her. He opened his eyes briefly and whispered, "You're here?" I nodded. He smiled. Then passed out again. I cried the entire ride. Later, while he recovered, she sat beside his hospital bed, scribbling in the diary. If I ever lose him, I wouldn't know how to breathe. This isn't just love anymore. He's become my rhythm. A folded note tucked inside the back pages wasn't a diary entry, it was a letter. One she never gave him. The ink was shaky, as if written during a moment of emotional chaos. "JUN-HO, if we ever get the chance to be free, I want to walk with you. Through markets. Through alleys. Through airports without fear. I want to wake up and not hide." Then, the next line changed everything. "If you ask me to marry you, I won't hesitate. I already feel like your wife in every way that matters." The letter was never delivered. No one knows why. Among the final entries was a haunting one. "I burned the photos today. Not because I hate them, but because if they fall into the wrong hands, they could destroy him. I watched the flames eat our smiles. But in my heart, they'll never fade." She describes the location in chilling detail: a rooftop in Gangnam, a small metal bucket, a lighter trembling in her hands. Photos of them hugging, smiling, even one of them dancing barefoot on the beach, all turned to ash. It felt like killing a part of myself. But I'd do it again if it means keeping him safe. Though the diary ends, questions remain. Some fans believe the last few pages contain coded messages, and are currently working to decode the doodles and numbers Yoona scribbled in the margins. One phrase, written backward in mirrored ink, stands out. "July 1st, Florence. Our second beginning? Could this be a meeting point? A secret plan to reunite in Italy? Was the Paris photo captured by fans actually their rendezvous? What began as a simple diary became a map of forbidden love, revealing a relationship full of breathtaking highs and devastating lows. And now, even as Yoona and JUN-HO remain silent publicly, fans around the world hold on to one hope: that their story, like any great drama, will one day reach a happily ever after. And maybe, just maybe, the next chapter of their love won't be written in a diary, but lived freely, without fear. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Do you think the Yoonjun diary is real? Or just the best love story never told? Stay tuned for more jaw-dropping K-drama celebrity stories on this channel.